You're watching Cable 2.
Welcome everyone to the first ever Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools District Amazing Shake. We're so excited that you guys are here today to witness our final 6 students. Last Friday, these students went through a grueling amount of interviews and scenarios and situations that many adults would even struggle with. And so we are so proud of the resilience and hard work these students have put forward to get here today. So before we begin, we want to introduce these 6 amazing scholars. And we'll start off.
And just as a quick summary, if you don't know much about the Amazing Shake is a social skills competition that helps students with lifelong skills such as interview skills, eye contact, poise, grace under pressure. And so now this is their 4th round they are participating in this morning. The first round was something called the Gauntlet. These were unexpected challenges that they had to engage in. Everything from how would you deal with someone who's rude in a bank, who is unkind to others? Would you speak up and say something or stand there and be still? All the way to if a teleprompter and you are a newscaster goes blank, what do? So these were unexpected challenges that each one of them had to deal with. The second round, they had to work a room. So if you are coming into an unknown situation and you know no one, how do you work a room and talk with adults and have an authentic conversation? The third round was known as the Circle of Doom. These were 12 lightning quick questions that they had to answer in less than a minute with no break in between. And these were mostly current event questions. And today is their last round, which is the on-stage, no pressure interview. So now that all said, we have 6 finalists that we would like to welcome into the room. Miss Lola Larson, Haynes Magnet.
Miss Mahala Cheryl, Haynes Magnet.
Miss Ana Lucia Ferrero, Southwest Elementary.
Miss Maddie Mejia, Kernersville Elementary.
Mr. Cade Schaefer, Haynes Magnet Middle.
And Miss Naila Carter, Haynes Magnet. All right, congratulations again to all of you.
So we're going to put you in our soundproof booth as we bring up our first contestant. So if we could have Miss Lola Larson to come on and join us. Everyone else, if you could exit towards the back, we will call you when it is your turn. So congratulations again, and let the fun begin. We're going to turn it over to Brent Campbell, our communications officer, to MC for our day.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Lola. How are you? We're going to have a seat in our no-pressure seats here. These stiff chairs make it more fun, don't they? Right? So let's pretend. I want you to pretend that they're not out there, all right? We're just having a conversation. We're just going to talk through. First, I want you to tell me again, introduce yourself, tell me just a tiny bit about you.
So my name's Lola Larson. I'm a 6th grader at Haynes Magnet Middle, and I love working in groups. I play tennis and golf, which has helped me develop how to work individually and in a team, and that's super important to me. I love working with others and helping to lead discussions to success.
All right, good job. Now I've got 3 final round questions for you. There's no timer, so you can take your time, but also remember to be just as concise as possible, okay? All right, you ready? The first question. What would you share with a friend to make sure that their social media posts are appropriate to put out there to the entire world?
I would say, well, would you want your mom to see this? And does this make you feel good about yourself, or does it just kind of just say something that's kind of like in an angry or harsh way? Have you really thought about what you're about to put out there? And if someone saw this that you didn't want to see this, what would they say? Would they be proud of you for putting this out there, or would they not be proud of you? You have to really represent yourself well on the internet, because you never know who's going to see it and what they're going to do with that information.
And your mom and you've talked about this,
yes,
haven't you?
Exactly.
All right, second question for you. You're going to the 15th floor. You get on the elevator with President Trump. and you have only 45 seconds to tell him what the greatest need in our country is and how he should address it.
I would tell him that the greatest need in our country is to not always go at something trying to argue with one another, but trying to figure out how we can unite with each other. I would tell him that he could do this by, when going into a situation, asking what they think should happen and trying to make his plans around how he can unite with one another and work together as a team. Sometimes people go into situations just trying to butt heads and argue, when really they should go in trying to see how they can work at this together and solve the problem in ways that everyone would like the solution to be.
Good job, Lola. Thank you very much. All right, final question. In this room, coming up in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have an entirely new school board. They'll take office on December the 11th. If you could pretend they were sitting behind us and you got to turn around and talk to them, what would you tell them that their first order of duty should be to improve our school system?
I would tell them that their first order of duty should be to try and eliminate bullying. This is a really big issue, and it's really hard to try to eliminate it because you never know what the student's background is that is bullying. So I'd say that they would try to eliminate bullying by asking the student what's going on with them, how are they feeling, how are they doing, and talking to the student personally with one another. It's really challenging to do this because there's lots of students in the school system and you can't always get to them individually with one another. But we should try to at least find the people that are not probably doing the right thing and ask them, how are you feeling, what can we do to help you, what's going on at home, and how can we fix this problem that you are having.
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? That's it, Lola. Great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You can leave your microphone right there. It was nice speaking with you, too. And I'll have you go that way. And I think Adam's going to open up the Bitly. And you can find the Bitly on your sheet, and then you can vote there. We'll give you, roughly a minute or so in between? I have to say, in between watching the folks the other day and then watching and reading these questions, this would make me a nervous wreck. Wow, impressive stuff. Next year we need the Jeopardy music in between, right? Anybody need any more time? Everybody pretty good? All right, I think we'll move on to the next one then. We're going to welcome Anna Lucia. Good morning. Hello. Grab that microphone and have a seat in that small chair there. And why don't you start by telling everybody that's here just a little bit about who you are.
Well, my name's Anna Lucia Ferrario. I go to Southwest Elementary School, and I really love to dance. I dance almost 20 hours a week, and it is really fun.
You dance a lot then, 20 hours a week, like a part-time job. All right, so I want you to pretend that all these eyes aren't looking at you right now, okay? Pretend we're just sitting here in a nice, cozy living room having a conversation with some serious questions. Got 3 questions for you, all right? First one. What would you share with a friend to make sure that their social media posts are appropriate to put out to the entire world?
Well, make sure they're not sharing anything mean, no rude comments, nothing inappropriate, just nice, kind messages.
All right, good job. Second question for you. You're getting on an elevator and you got to go to the 15th floor. And on that elevator is President Trump. And you have 45 seconds to tell him what the greatest need in the country is and how he should address it.
Well, I think, first of all, we would say something like, I do really like your policies, and they're really smart, but I think the country needs a better introduction to those policies. So instead of screaming at them, saying those policies, like, say it nicer. And I think then everybody would like him better, be able to communicate with him better, and therefore we'd have better interactions with him.
Thank you very much. Told you these were serious questions, weren't they? All right, the last question. In this room, next week, we're going to have an entirely new school board that'll be sitting up here. So all new folks taking office on December 11th. What should their first order of duty be to improve the school system?
I think that some schools need some more electronics, more technical-based learning stuff, because you are able to use a bunch of different websites, a bunch of different cool stuff on the computer. I think that's really cool, because like I know in our classroom we have a bunch of computers, we do a bunch of Google Docs, Google Slides, a bunch of presentations on them, and I think that's really cool, and I think that would be awesome if the school board could get all the schools a bunch of computers, laptops, stuff
So
like
more
that.
technology. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's have a round of applause for Anna Lucia. And I believe you'll open up, it's open now, the Google Doc for her. I'm kind of gauging from when I see hair to forehead that when I see more foreheads, we're good to go. I'm guessing that's about right there. Think we are. Everybody pretty good? We're ready to move on? All right, let's move to number 3. And this is Cade. Come on up, Cade. That feels like a long walk, doesn't it? When everybody's, nice to meet you, Kay. Come on, I'll introduce myself. Grab your microphone. I'm Brent Campbell, our communications officer. Nice to meet you. Have a seat.
Thanks.
So, since you introduced yourself to me, now that you have the microphone, I want you to introduce yourself to everybody out here and tell them just a little bit about you.
So, my name is Cade Schaefer. I was born in Winston-Salem, but I've moved across like all of North Carolina and even Florida. I have a dog named Lily Potter, and I currently live in Lexington, North Carolina. I enjoy to box and to watch anime.
And where do you go to school again, Kate?
Haynes Magnet Middle.
Okay. So now we're going to pretend they're not all staring at you, and just we're having a conversation here in these cozy chairs. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, okay? I want you to answer them. You don't have a certain time limit, but keep them concise, all right?
Okay.
So the first one. What would you share with a friend to make sure that their social media posts are appropriate to put out to the entire world?
So I would say if you would not want a social media post like that put out of you, then why would you put that out of someone else? Even if it's not like supposed to be offensive, some people can take it offensively.
Okay. All right. Good job. Next question. You're getting on an elevator. You're going up to the 15th floor. And on the elevator is President Trump.
Oh.
And you have 45 seconds to tell him what the greatest need in the country is and how he should address it.
So I would say the greatest need in the country is global warming. So it might not affect your generation, but the next generation of people, it was seriously going to affect. not only is it floodwaters, but the temperatures will rise and the ozone layer will be destroyed. It is very important, and you should ask the scientists because you should pay more attention to them. But you should also stop your use of greenhouse gases as much as possible. Don't completely stop it, but try to limit it and encourage others to limit it.
All right, you like science, don't you?
Yes.
All right, last question. In a couple of days, we're going to have an all-new school board. We've got new members, so it makes the board totally different than it was before. They'll all be right here behind us, and they're getting sworn in on the 11th of December. So if you were here and you could talk to them, what would you tell them should be their first order of duty to improve the school system?
So the first order of duty to improve the school system should be to put more real-world classes in, because they try to tie math into the real world, but that works. But what they should do is they should teach kids how to write a check. They should teach them etiquette. They should teach them how to invest, and they should teach things how they could make money and disperse their earnings instead of rehearsing cursive. Even though, well, actually, you won't need cursive. You should learn things about the real world.
All right, good job. You have my love of math, don't you? Thank you, sir. You can put your microphone right there. And good luck to you. Nice meeting you. Right out that way. And we're opened up. I thought I heard myself talking when he said we should not be doing math. I was like, I can't stand math either. All right, I'm seeing lots of foreheads again, so I think we're ready to move on. Make sure I say this right. Is it Mahala?
Yes.
All right. Welcome Mahala to the room, everyone. Here you are. Grab your microphone, have a seat right there. So let's start with, make sure you use your microphone. Since we're on television, they got to hear you there too. I want you to tell everybody here just a little bit about you, who you are, and just a tiny bit about you.
I'm Mahala Cheryl, and I play soccer. I like to skate. I really like to make people laugh, so I'm very comedic, I guess. I have one sister. Her name is Pira. My dad's name is Roger, and my mom's name is Donna. And I like to sing as well. I've been singing since I was pretty much able to sing. So.
And you were limping the other day. You seem to be better today.
Yes.
Thanks. Good. I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better. All right, I got 3 questions for you. I want you to pretend that all those eyes aren't staring at you.
Okay.
All right, 3 questions we're going to go through. You don't have a time limit, but keep your answers as concise as you can, okay? Mm-hmm. So the first question, what would you share with a friend to make sure that their social media posts are appropriate to put out to the entire world?
Well, I would share with them probably a good bit of advice. My advice would definitely be make sure, I mean, it's one of the most common things said, but if your grandma were to see it, would she be okay with it? Don't post anything that's going to put others down or are going to embarrass anybody or embarrass yourself.
Good job. The grandmas are tough people, huh? Don't want to make them mad at you. All right, second question. You're getting on an elevator. You're going to the 15th floor, and on the elevator gets President Trump. You have 45 seconds to tell him what the greatest need in our country is and how he should address it.
The greatest need in our country is probably poverty. He should address it by, first of all, making sure that everybody doesn't waste their food, because at my school, one of my teachers, Miss Hayes, if she sees food on our tray that we haven't eaten, she'll usually try and take it home or wash it and save it. So maybe he could try and tell people, hey, just save your food if you're not going to use it, and try and get that out.
All right, good job. Thank you. Last question for you. In a couple of days, in this very room, we're going to have a brand new school board that's sworn in, and they'll be back here behind us where they hold their meetings. And when they take office on December 11th, should you have the chance to talk to them, what should you say, or what would you say to them should be their first order of duty to improve the school system?
The very new school board?
Yes.
October was the month of bullying, and I believe the first thing we should definitely talk about, even though it's not the month of October, is bullying, because it still is a very big problem in many different schools. So we should definitely talk to them about that, because obviously if they're the board, then they're going to have the most control over that, and they can definitely help make that into effect.
Good job. Way to go. Let's give her a round of applause. That wasn't too bad, was it? Thank you very much. We'll make our way right around there. And we're open, so you can go in and vote. It's funny, they're doing a really good job. Most of them, though, when they hear the question, they're so close to me, I can see them kind of look at me like, did you really ask me that? And then they pull it together. All right, let's move on. This is Maddie coming in. That does feel like a long walk, doesn't it, Maddie? Nice to meet you. Come on around here. Grab that microphone and have a seat there. So I want you first to look at these folks and just tell them a little bit about who you are, what you like, just a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Madeline Mejia. I go to KES. I'm a 5th grader there. I'm in Mrs. Lackey's class. And my favorite thing to do is art.
Art? Particular kind of art?
Painting or sketching.
All right, painting or sketching. All right, now don't pretend that all those eyes aren't looking at you, and we're just having a conversation here. I've got 3 questions for you. Okay?
Okay.
You can keep your answers short. You don't have a time limit, but keep them concise. All right?
Okay.
So the first one: what would you share with a friend to make sure that their social media posts are appropriate to put out to the entire world?
The post an advice I would give them to make sure it is appropriate would be to check if it has something to do with bullying, that's not appropriate to put, or like say their clothing could be inappropriate and you don't want to post it on social media to see, because that's very inappropriate and it could cause hate, and hate's just a terrible thing.
Good job, good job. All right, next question. You're getting on an elevator and you're going to the 15th floor. And on that elevator gets President Trump.
Okay.
And you have 45 seconds to tell him what the greatest need in our country is and how he should address it.
Well, I think the greatest need right now in our country is to basically, because so you know how we're having the trouble with the border, right? And so I think the greatest need is everyone's freaking out about the border because people are coming over, and I think that he should just let them come over, because everyone's starting to think of and criticize him for not letting them over. And then it's causing fights between I forget, they're called Republicans and the Republicans and the immigrants, and that causes trouble between them. And when you do take the
border down when they come, and they can actually, the immigrants can show their personality to the people, maybe the Republicans can actually figure out that immigrants aren't as bad as they seem.
Good job. That's a tough question. All right, last one for you. In this very room, in just a couple of days, right back here is going to be an entirely new school board. Totally different group of people. When they take office on December 11th, what, if you could talk to them, would you tell them should be their first order of duty to improve our school system?
Well, the nonviolence, because all there is violence. And in school, they're starting to get violent with bullying and all. And bullying is starting to get really physical. So I really think what they should do is maybe they should keep a better eye out on the bullying. I'm sorry, I think this is going.
That's okay.
This bullying is horrible, and when you bully, I think they also need to pay attention to the bullies, because all the bullies get is punishment, and maybe the bullies are having a bad home life, and that's why they say, oh, if I bully this person, I'll feel better. But half the time, when a bully bullies someone, I'm saying bully again, that they say, oh, I feel better, but it don't. And it's just. They should pay attention to the bullies also. I know they have to pay attention to the victim of the bullies, but they should also pay attention to the bullies, because they punish them and they don't really know their backstory.
Good job. Good job. Let's give her a round of applause. That's it. Thank you very much. Oh, you're welcome. Here, I'll take that from you. Oh, you're welcome. She thanked me for taking my time. And he's got it opened up. The President Trump question is the one that gets the every single time. All right, I think we're ready to move on to our last one. Help me say it again. Naila. I want to make sure I say it right. Come on in, Naila. Nothing's worse than a long walk in front of people and somebody that can't say your name, is it? Have a seat right there, will you? And grab that microphone. So first, I want you to talk to these folks and tell them your name and introduce yourself and tell us just a little bit about you.
Well, hello, my name is Nyla Carter. I'm an 8th grader at Haynes Magnet School, and I have always been interested in things like this. I joined the student council in elementary school, and I've stuck with it till now.
All right, good job. All right, now, let's pretend they're not staring right at you. Let's go through 3 questions, okay? You don't have a time limit, but keep your answers concise for me, all right? So the first one, what would you share with a friend to make sure that their social media posts are appropriate to put out to the entire world?
I would probably share my secrets. Like I try to abide by a code whenever I'm on social media, although I don't do it a lot. So I keep I keep my private social, and I try to keep myself and align myself by the rules, and I will make sure, of course, they're age appropriate. I always try to make sure that I listen, and that's it.
Okay, all right. Next question. You get on an elevator, and you're going to go to the 15th floor, and on that elevator gets President Trump. And you have 45 seconds to tell him what the greatest need in the country is and how he should address it. What would you say?
The greatest need is probably the children. We are the future, and we need to be prepared to change the world. I feel that we are mainly focusing on adults now and all the problems people say he's creating and how great he's doing, but nobody's really focused on the children, and I think we need to focus on that. I think he can help out in schools to help us, and maybe he can even talk, try to connect with us.
Okay, good job. All right, last one. In just a couple of days, right here in this room, we're going to have a brand new school board that'll be taking office. They'll do that on December the 11th. If you could talk to them, what would you tell them should be their first order of duty to improve our entire system?
I think the curriculums in schools could be changed. Sometimes it's hard just the way they teach the basic math, and that can cause dropouts and stuff, and we really need to be sticking together. And if they're all leaving and not trying because they think it's all hard and janked up, maybe we can incorporate more arts, get the art students involved so they don't think they're just going to be sitting behind a desk for the rest of their life.
All right, good job. That's it. It wasn't too bad, was it? Thank you very much. Have you go right back there. And Adam's got that one opened up. So they're going to take a few minutes. It's going to take us just a few minutes to tabulate this. But while we're doing that, I want to put 3 people on the spot, and that would be Laura, Robin, and Summer. So will y'all come up here just a second, please? Summer just gave me the eyes all the kids are giving me. What? You match. So I'm going to give you the microphone and let you start. Just tell me a little bit about, you all three, these are the principals of the schools that are represented by these students today. And just tell me a little bit about, if you would, your thoughts in watching these students and what they've been through and what it's been like and what the process has been like, from your opinion.
I think I probably shed more tears over the Amazing Shake than I have over anything we've done since I got to KES, and those are happy, proud tears. When we started our first 2 rounds at KES, just watching the kids and seeing the promise of students who can communicate with adults and get their point across and can't be swayed because they believe what they believe with all their hearts, it does a lot for you when you spend all day and all night trying to instill that in them. So knowing that is an opportunity that we gave them, and it was just kind of on a whim because Adam kept harping at everybody about the Amazing Shake, and I love Adam, so I said, well, why not? We'll try it. And I'm very grateful to Deborah Lackey, who said, you know what? We're in 5th grade team meeting. I'll take it. I'll do it. I'll run with it. And she's done so much to make that happen for these kids. We are very social, emotional driven. Our theme at KES is that we are Wildcats at heart. And so that's very critical to us, that we educate the whole child, and we make sure that we try to bridge the gaps for them and give them access to education by taking care of the needs that are there that are primary to them and opening them up to relax and be comfortable and learn the curriculum. So it's meant a lot to us at KES, and I appreciate the opportunity for our kids.
So Robin, I'm going to ask you something different. You've got 4 in this competition. What do you think they're getting out of it? Because you've seen each kid's a little bit different. What are they getting out of this competition?
We do have 4 unique individuals, and they're all very, very different. And just to watch them interact and learn from each other was interesting to see. And having 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade, it's really hard unless you know them what grade they're actually in. So they've learned, they just have this graciousness about them that you see, that's something. And so those were 4 out of, I think, 50-some students that we had to narrow down to just a group. And unfortunately, it's a hard decision because you've got all these kids. So now everybody wants to do this kind of stuff, so we have to add a few more clubs to the school. So thank you, Adam, for that. So yeah, but it's been great to watch them work together and grow. And I do have to thank Ms. Speaks, because she's the one who helped coordinate everything at Haynes for us with the process. So it's a challenge. Yeah.
Thank you. Summer, so talk to us a little bit about, I mean, you guys have probably seen some of the skills they've picked up along this process. Can you tell me a little bit about that from your perspective?
Sure. I'm not as well spoken as Anna Lucia. Her mother knows this. So for us, we were actually talking about this morning. I've seen a change not only within the group. We had all 4 of ours that ended up in the top 20. And one of ours, unfortunately, couldn't be there that day of competition, but they've all come back, and that group, I feel like, has gotten even closer among the 4 of them. Whenever anything has happened, they've all kind of gone to that person and taken care of that person, made sure they're okay. And I was saying this morning that for our 5th graders, we've already seen a difference in whenever we walk up to them, have a conversation with them, we're telling them, okay, looking up, standing positive, and you are strong in your answer is, whatever the answer may be. And they've already started portraying that, which I think will be a skill that they will obviously need in middle school. And so I think that this for them is something that now that we've gotten it started, we can easily say to any 5th grader that we're passing in the hallway, all right, we're up, making eye contact, and speaking with adults, and it's helped to give them a level of confidence that some of them did not have at the beginning of the year.
Good job. Anything else any of you guys want to share about it or the experience?
Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Paul.
Oh, yeah, so Adam's asking about preparation. What did you do to prepare the kids? I mean, yeah, maybe for a principal.
So for us, I will say Dr. Markell took this on. He came back and I was like, okay, Adam and Paula are talking about this. Do you want to do this? And of course his response was, yeah. Okay, let's get started. So for us, we got our teachers on board with it fairly quickly because we talked to them the importance about the social emotional piece and what the students would learn from this. And so once we got them on board, it just took, we thought we could get it done within a 40-minute time period. And so we planned to do it during their specials. And an hour or so later, we were still doing it. But the teachers were very involved in it, and the students were very involved in it, and so the time seemed to kind of fly by. So we had all of them come into our auditorium, and we had a bunch of volunteers that were set up around with community leaders that we had. And so they stood and spoke with each one of us for maybe, it was supposed to be 30 seconds. It was a lot quicker than 30 seconds, it felt like. So they went through there, we ranked everybody, and then tallied them up and picked our top 10 from our school. And then from there, we had different business partners come in to interview them and kind of go down to the top 5. And we got to our top 5, and we were planning on just bringing one student with us. And then we got the email that said you can bring more if you want to. And we couldn't pick between our top 5 because all 5 of them really had what we felt like exuded what Amazing Shake was all about. And so we brought all 5 of them with us. So it was a fairly easy process. The initial piece with just getting all of our 5th graders through, because we have so many classes, was the biggest piece, but it was well worth it in the end.
So Laura or Robin, as we move forward and we try to get other schools involved, any advice for principals who haven't done this before, or things that you may do differently, or advise folks to do next year as we think forward?
From the middle school perspective, it was, we had so many students, we had to narrow it down. So we had homeroom teachers talk to their classes about it, and then go through a little process with just their homerooms, and then pick students to represent. So they sent 2 students each to represent their homerooms, which made us a large group. And then we broke it into smaller chunks when we did the initial process. And then we went to the media center and did a work the room. And then we narrowed it down from there. And then some of them were so close, we had to have like this interview off kind of thing like this that we didn't really know. So it was something that takes time, and make sure you plan it out instead of trying to do it all in one day. Because we tried to do it all in one day, and that was really overwhelming, not only for the kids, but for the people involved in the process. So that was something, my advice would be, make sure you chunk it out into different days, maybe week. And, we actually had 6 students that 5 students that we selected. One of them decided he couldn't make it, so we put an alternate in, and then another person decided they couldn't make it, so we ended up just bringing 4. But it's been a great process. And yesterday we had a principal from another school come over and interview the kids and kind of give them a little practice round to see what it was all about. So it's kind of, it goes through the whole district.
Laura?
I would say, you know your school, play to your strengths. In Kernersville, if you ring a bell, the community comes running in, and I know that's our strength, so we immediately involved them in our first round, where we did kind of like the circle of doom we did the other day, without the questions, just the introductions and the conversation, where we had 60, 70 fifth graders go through that with Rotary Club, Lions Club, Kiwanis Club, Kernersville Chamber, SROs, everybody that we could bring in that were strangers, people that they weren't comfortable speaking to, so that it kind of put them on the spot to show who they were. So I would say if you've got people who support your school, they loved it. The volunteers loved it, and they were so impressed. It's also great PR because you're showing them how wonderful your kids are. So they went out all over Kernersville, and I couldn't even be at the parade last Sunday without everybody telling me how great my kids are, and they met 60 of them. So it's a good thing to get the community involved. So I think that's the easiest way to bring people in, so that it becomes not just the school trying to pull it off alone. So from a principal standpoint, play to your strengths and bring in the strong people that want to support your school in the first place too.
Thank you guys, good job. You make it to the next round of the Amazing Principal Shake. So Adam, are you going to bring the folks in? Is that what we're, okay. I don't want to tell my surprise until they get in the room. Yeah, I have a surprise for them. While they come in, let's give them one more round of applause for their hard work.
Good morning. You did great.
You guys pop up here on the stage, if you will, since we're on television.
While they're doing that, I just want to say thank you to Adam and Paula. On top of already busy and overloaded schedules, they approached me way back and said, can we do this for the district? It's like, oh, of course. Anybody who comes and asks to do something extra, we're going to bless. So we want to say thank you to them. I'd also like to say a special thank you, since we're live, to the Winston-Salem Foundation. They give me every year what's called a superintendent's little grant. And I forget it, I don't use it, and it sort of adds up. And it added up to an amount this time that we were able to go and withdraw that about $9,000 to support this effort, and to make sure that 4 of these folks who we're going to announce here in a few minutes get to go to the Ron Clark Academy and take care of those expenses for them, so they can compete in the big Amazing Shake. So if you see those folks out, Scott Weirman, Brittany Gaspari, they're the reason that we have the extra funds to be able to support this effort, and we thank them very much. I know I'm dragging it out. It's kind of like American Idol. We need some music in the background. The other thing I want to say about this is on Friday, I was the last station of the 20, and I got to ask these folks one question. And what really impressed me is that almost to a student, the ones who came through said it wasn't about the competition. It was about how they had grown and what incredible skills they had that otherwise they don't think they would have had, and how really prepared they felt to just tackle anything. And I was just so impressed by all of you, and you did a great job here today. And so now I'm gonna do this. Okay. All right. Come on.
Before you do this.
So I luckily am not. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Before you do this, I just want to take the time just so we, as the audience, if there's somebody that wants to give the kids some quick feedback, because this will continue forward. Pluses and deltas and thinking about interviewing and like on the stage when you don't know the question. I think that's a tough piece, and Brett picked on you all for just a second. He said, I get this look like, did you really just ask me this question? And you breathe and lean in and you answer, and I think that's a great skill to kind of brace yourself before you have to answer a question. Now, saying all that, what are some takeaways, audience, and I'll walk around. Quick feedback to our contestants, if you have that, because they always need feedback in order to grow. Did I see your hand? Okay.
You all are amazing, and I wish I had 1/10 of your talent when I was in middle school, that I could do what you just did. I would say what I think you all did all of you did very well was to use the pause to think. And you all had a pause word or a sound like, well, what I would do, and I think you did a great job on that. And it gives you time for your brain to kick in and say, what did he just ask me? And you did a great job on that. So keep doing that when you get a question that you don't know the answer to.
Any other feedback points from audience? Okay. One feedback that I would say is you don't have to respond immediately. And several of you all just jumped right in. Take a moment. It's okay if you take a couple seconds. Don't take a minute, but just take a couple seconds and say, what are my 2 points? All right, let's go. So just think about that too. Anybody else? Dr. Emery or Adam?
I was going to say, I like the fact that you took a stand. So whether it's right or wrong or somebody else agrees with it or not, being decisive, and most of you were able to sort of jump right in, whether it was global warming or whatever the issue, you had one. And that speaks to smarts, in my opinion. And so I liked that you weren't so worried about what people thought. You had an opinion and you were able to clearly articulate it. Okay, I'm going to tell you now because Mr. DeVico says this is really what you want to know. And luckily, I'm not doing winners. I'm just doing top 4. All right, so let's give it up for Lola, who is in the top 4. Ana Lucia, who is in the top 4. Cade, who is in the top 4. And is it Nyla? In the top 4. Congratulations.
So now my surprise. Congratulations, you guys. I don't know if any of you guys saw, but we talked a little bit about social media, but Mr. DeVico at the beginning of the year put a video, or he did a story with Channel 12 about some of these skills that he incorporates into his school every single day. And to tell you how important this is and how much people appreciate these skills, Channel 12 put that video on Facebook, and that video has now been shared over 550,000 times. So Channel 12 is invested in this because they believe what you're doing too. So the winner is going to be on Channel 12's morning show on Thursday morning at 8:15 with their anchors, showing off some of your skills. So how about that? All right.
All right, and the winner of the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Amazing Shake, please give it up to Cade.
Congratulations.
It's the first time I've seen him not be able to speak in 3 days. I barely know the kid. I haven't not seen him speak yet, so congratulations. Congratulations to all 6. You done just an amazing job at setting the stage for what we have as many, many years to come for this competition in our district.
I just would like to say one more thing. So this party doesn't end, and there's going to be another opportunity next year. So all of you all, unless you're 8th graders, and even 8th graders can come back and help us volunteer next year. So there's still a responsibility and an opportunity to continue forward. And for our 4 finalists, we want to make sure that we can provide you support as you prepare to go to Ron Clark. So Adam and I are both available to help in any way possible, to work with your principals and to work with your schools. And as far as logistics, parents, before you walk out of this room today, make sure we see you so we can help you with some logistics and preparation for getting to February. Thank you, principals, for coming out this morning. I definitely want to thank our committee because we had people zigzagging everywhere and they were really so supportive. Thank you for judges or those who took extra time to come and help on Friday. We're very grateful and thank you for all your support. You guys have a wonderful day, and let's give our students a round of applause, big hug, and thank you for stepping up to the challenge. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for joining us on your school channel, Cable 2.